Thursday at like 3 p.m. I'm just sat out here on my front lawn of my beautiful house, eating pistachios in the sun. And when I came out here to sit down, I was just realizing, like, people don't have this luxury. Like, every day I sit there and I think about the stress that entrepreneurship brings me. And in this game, you rarely think about how much pleasure and how much joy and how much in the small things, how much value being an entrepreneur is. You know what I mean? Like, I'm able to sit here in the sun on a Thursday at 4 p.m. just bathing, just enjoying. And other people in this world just do not have that freedom. Majority of the people in this world are out of job right now. They aren't able to do what they want, they work on what they want, be who they want to be. And I don't blame them. It's because the society that we live in. And the society that we live in has orchestrated it in a way that people are like that, and that you don't have a choice. You have to operate like that. We're born and we're programmed into this society to believe that that is the only way and that every other way is wrong. And even our own parents sit there. I'm lucky enough that my mom never believed in this shit. She never believed in the system. She always fought against it. And that's true. She did fight against it. She fought so much that they took her medical license away. She's no longer a doctor here in Canada because she fought against the system. My father went to jail because he fought against the system. And people always ask me, like, why do I speak so passionately on freeing people's minds? It's because I've been affected personally. You all have been affected personally, and they've attacked you since the day you were born, and your parents, and your parents' parents, and your parents' parents' parents. But they put my father in jail, and they took my mother's license away, and her only purpose in life was to help people and heal people, and they took her ability away to do that because she didn't want to push pills, and she didn't want to take away human rights. And it's just sick. It's sickening that we still exist in this society, and we live with it, and we exist in it, and we tolerate it, and that men have become so weak. And I blame it on men. I blame everything on men. In the 1700s, we would start a civil war over 2% tax. Now it's 40%. They bend us over and fuck us, and we sit there and we enjoy it. And I get it. The game has become every man for themselves, every family for themselves, and that's the point they've pushed us to. If you don't focus on just your family, then you don't have anything. Because they've got you in a position where even if you try fighting for the world, try fighting for good, that they'll get you. They'll attack you. And you won't be able to say anything about it, do anything about it. You need a tremendous amount of power to do anything nowadays. A tremendous amount of attention, a tremendous amount of money. And the reality is, even in that situation, you can't do much. That's why I talk so much, because this is my biggest superpower. Being able to sit here and speak freely. And that's why I was holding so much gratitude out here. In entrepreneurship, we sit out here, we aren't as grateful as, we don't take the small moments in, the little peace and the little blessings that being an entrepreneur brings us. When you look at the society and people that have to work 5 days a week minimum, 9 to 5, and I'm out here on a Thursday at 3 p.m., sitting in my front lawn with a camera and mic, just spouting absolute bullshit because I can. Because I made a decision to break through that and pursue things that I wanted to pursue and live a life that I wanted to live and take a risk to live true to myself. And now I am. And I'm sat here, enjoying the sun and realizing, wow, I get to do whatever the fuck I want. I can. When I need to make the money, I make the money. When I want to make more will come. And that's the beauty of it. As an entrepreneur, if you're so fixated on the stress that entrepreneurship brings you, you'll never see the benefits. And you'll never understand that you being in this position of being an entrepreneur, you're already winning. You're already ahead of the game. And that pressure you put on yourself, that stress is just unneeded. I think stress is, we operate in a realm where stress does exist. And stress is an important thing to realize that it is there to motivate you and to push you but you're already winning. The fact that you're pursuing what you want to pursue, yes, stress that you haven't accomplished those things. Yes, stress that life is going to catch up to you, but you have won so much already by saying no to the programming, by saying no to the system that society has put us under. And I speak so much because I hope, you know how amazing it would be if I could see all my neighbors sitting on their front lawn in the fucking chair enjoying the sun on a 3 p.m. on a fucking Thursday? It's because they get to be free-thinking individuals, and I get to live in a society where we can speak openly and pursue what we want to pursue and be creatives as we were meant to be. Creativity is one of the most important abilities that humans have, and nothing else can come close to. That's what makes us really special. You need to focus more on creativity in your business. Very, very important thing. Creativity and business are aligned. I think there's I've been under the interpretation that creativity and business aren't aligned, but everything in business is creative. You make up half the shit you do. I always said to my friends back in the day when I dropped out of school, and I always said, waking up and getting told what to do and giving an assignment is so much fucking easier than what I gotta do. As an entrepreneur, you wanna learn a new skill. There's no one to tell you, unless you got the money. You gotta sit in front of the laptop, figure it the fuck out. Sit there and with a notebook and a journal and just fucking pull up a YouTube video and start learning. And that's why the highest leverage thing you can do as an entrepreneur is focus on your ability to interpret information and learn information. And that's what I'm really, really been learning. It's just like, I'm so young, my businesses are so young, and the highest leverage thing I can do is learn as much as possible. And you want to do the most highest leverage things, because the more I learn now, the more it's going to compound later on. What an absolute beautiful thing it is to actually be a human being and to just exist. And I'm going out for dinner tonight with somebody, a pretty lady. It's going to be nice. I worked Monday to Thursday really, really hard, and now my brain is a bit poofed. So I'm taking some time in the sun, and I'm still working. Picking up the camera, I'm recording. Everything is work. Everything is work. Everything that compounds you to be the person you want to be, to run that business, to do that thing, to accomplish said thing, is work. It's all work. And work is fun. Work is beautiful. I hope eventually my videos will lead to a point where I get to get people to be in the same position I'm in. They'll just sit in the front lawn, go wherever they want, eat whatever they want, do whatever they want. Protect who they need to protect, provide for who they need to provide for. And if I can do that for the world, for a couple 100,000, millions, a couple million of people, a couple millions of people, that would bring me true satisfaction. And I'd be fulfilled. And I'd be able to pass it on to my kids, and my kids would be able to pursue the missions that their souls are endowed with, and that would bring me true contentment and fulfillment. I've never been more content in my life. There's so many ups and downs and shit that I go through every day. There's always something. You always get attacked with thoughts that aren't yours. You always do actions that don't provide value to your purpose. You always have to remove some sort of belief that you're constantly being attacked in today's world because they've set it up so well that you're never not. We've been programmed since we were kids to think thoughts that don't serve us, do actions that don't serve us, and have beliefs that don't serve us. And even as a fully grown man, I'll sit here and I'll say some things to another fully grown man, and I'll say, you have to be grateful for everything that's ever happened in your fucking life. And they'll sit there and they'll victimize themselves. Oh, my dad used to beat the fuck out of me. How is that a good thing? Do you love who you are today? If you love who you are today, you have to be grateful for every single thing that has ever happened in your entire life. If one thing would have changed in my life, I'd be an entirely different person. And I speak on gratitude so much because it's one of the simplest beliefs you can install within your head, to be grateful for literally everything that has ever happened to you in your entire life. And it will provide so much value, because when you're in those moments, yes, you won't feel that gratitude, but 1 day, 2 days later, you'll look back and you'll go, you know what? I'm grateful that happened. I'm grateful that partner left me. I'm grateful my mom did this to me. I'm grateful my father hit me. I'm grateful that I had no food today. I'm grateful that I ended up on the street that week. I'm grateful I got to experience that because look at where I am now. Look who I am now. You know, there is genuine distraught and struggle when like a family member dies or something truly, truly terrible happens. I believe that. But even in those moments, you have to hold gratitude for it. Otherwise, how are you supposed to operate future? Look in the future. You know, if you sit there and you gripe on the passing of a family member and not being grateful that they died and that you're here and that you got to spend that time with them, it's like, what is that going to do for you to live your life? You have to move on. Time moves on. Time keeps going. It's not that you have to forget the person, not that you have to forget the experience. It's about being grateful that you've been able to have that on this earth. You should be grateful that you get to experience such hardship. There's people that die before they get to experience love. There's people that die before they get to experience sadness. There's people that die before they get to experience base human experiences. And if all we're here for on this planet is to learn about ourselves and experience as much as we can, that is truly the saddest thing, is to live a life without experience. To live a life in a box. And that idea truly saddens me. I'm empathetic to those who haven't had the opportunity to live true to themselves and suffer with so many hardships that the society has told them they need to suffer under and victimize themselves. I have empathy for you because I understand what that's like. I've been there. That's why I speak in the manner I do, because I've been there. I know it intimately. You know?